I switched lives with my abused pregnant twin sister for 24 hours. Her husband instantly regretted it. They thought he was a man of God. For 3 years behind closed doors, Pastor Marcus broke his wife into someone unrecognizable, not a partner, not even a person. Mary carried everything: the bruises, the hunger, the humiliation. 7 months pregnant, still walking on eggshells in her own home. On Sundays, Marcus stood on the pulpit, smiling like heaven sent him. People cried when he preached. They trusted him. They believed every word. But inside that house, he was someone else, and no one believed Mary, not even her twin sister, Martha, until the call. One FaceTime, one look at her swollen, bruised face, and everything changed. Martha Williams built her life across Dubai, Singapore, and New York City. Strong, fearless, she doesn't bend. And Mary, the opposite. Quiet, soft, fragile, always apologizing, always making peace. For 7 years they hadn't seen each other. Martha had missed her wedding, missed birthdays, but not this time. Within hours, she was on a flight to Atlanta. No warning, no mercy. Marcus thought his wife was still the same fragile woman. He had no idea. The woman standing in his home now was built for war. And this time, every slap, every humiliation, every lie was coming back to him, stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous. Hold on 1 second. If this story already got you thinking, tap that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories like this on your feed, and comment your city. I really want to know where you're watching from.
Mary, what happened to your face? The question stayed there, heavy. Mary stood in the kitchen at Lenox Avenue, Buckhead, Atlanta, phone pressed close to her ear. The sink was still running behind her, water spilling over her fingers. I fell, she said. Too fast, too practiced. On the other end, Martha didn't move. She stood on the sidewalk in downtown Dubai, people passing behind her, cars rolling by like nothing mattered. Mary, look at me. Mary closed her eyes for a second. Then she turned the camera back. Slow, careful, not all the way, but enough. Martha saw it again. That mark, clear now. Not a fall, not even close. Silence filled both sides of the call. Mary tried to hold her face steady. I told you, Stop. Mary froze. That word hit different this time. Martha stepped away from the street into a quieter corner near a glass building. Her eyes stayed locked on the screen. Don't lie to me. Mary's lips pressed together. Her chest rose, fell. She looked away from the camera, toward the door, still closed, still quiet. I'm okay, she said again, but her voice didn't match. Martha caught it, every bit of it. You're not okay. Mary didn't answer. Her hand moved slowly to her belly, holding it again, like she needed to remind herself of something. Martha noticed that too. Her jaw tightened. Mary, who did that to you? The question landed hard. Mary's eyes filled, but nothing dropped. Not yet. She shook her head. No one. Martha didn't react right away. Didn't argue, didn't push. She just stared, long enough to make the silence uncomfortable, long enough to make Mary feel seen, really seen, and that was worse. Mary tried to smile. It didn't stay. I'm fine, Martha. You don't need to. A sound cut her off. Footsteps outside. Mary's head snapped toward the door. Her breathing changed. Quick now, uneven. Martha caught that shift instantly. Why are you looking at the door? Mary shook her head fast. No reason. Another sound. Closer. Mary lowered her voice without thinking. I have to go. Martha's eyes narrowed. Go where? I'll call you later. Mary's hand hovered over the screen again. Same hesitation as before. Same fear. Martha stepped closer to her own camera. Mary. That tone again. Firm. Controlled. Mary stopped. Didn't hang up. Didn't speak either. Just stood there, caught between something. Martha took a slow breath. Then she changed her approach.
All right, she said, calmer now. Then talk to me. Mary didn't move. Just talk, Martha continued. Start anywhere.
Silence. Mary's fingers tightened around the phone. Her eyes dropped to the floor. Then, slowly, she spoke. Not strong, not confident, just real. "My husband, Marcus, he gets mad sometimes." Martha didn't interrupt. Mary kept going. "Over small things." Her voice stayed low. "He says I don't listen, or I embarrass him." Her throat tightened. "But I try. I really try." Martha's face didn't change, but her eyes sharpened. Mary's words started coming easier now, like something finally broke open. "He takes the money you send, says it's for church." A pause. "I don't ask questions." Another pause. "He doesn't like when I go out." Martha's grip on her phone tightened. Mary swallowed. "Sometimes he locks the door." Silence again, this time heavier. Mary's voice dropped even more. "But it's not like all the time." Like she was defending it, like she was fixing it. Martha closed her eyes for a brief second, then opened them again. Different now. Cold. Focused. "Mary," she said. Mary looked up. "He put his hands on you." Not a question. Mary didn't answer, but she didn't deny it either, and that was enough. Martha nodded once, slow, controlled. Everything around her faded out. The street, the people, the noise, none of it mattered anymore. "Stay where you are." Mary blinked. "What?" "Don't tell him anything," Martha said, her voice steady, clear. "I'm coming." Mary's eyes widened. "No, Martha, you don't need to." "I said I'm coming." No hesitation, no doubt. Mary shook her head. "You don't understand." "I understand enough." That shut it down. Mary went quiet, her chest rising again, falling again. She looked toward the door one more time, fear still there, still strong. "Martha." But she didn't finish. Martha had already made her decision. She pulled the phone away slightly. "Keep your phone on you and answer when I call." Mary nodded slowly. "Okay." Martha held her gaze one last time. Then the call ended. Just like that. Mary stood there in the kitchen, still, silent, the water still running in the sink. She didn't move to turn it off, didn't move at all. Her phone stayed in her hand, screen dark now. The house felt smaller, tighter, like the walls were closing in. Then, the front door handle moved again, this time louder. Mary's heart jumped, her body locked. The door opened, and Marcus stepped inside early, way too early. His eyes went straight to her, standing there, doing nothing, holding her phone. He frowned. "I thought I told you to clean this place." Mary couldn't answer, not right away, because something had changed, and Marcus could feel it. Amen. The church erupted. Hands raised, voices loud, heads nodding all across the room at New Light Chapel on Peachtree Street, Midtown Atlanta. Marcus stood at the pulpit, sharp white shirt, clean shoes, Bible open in his hand. Calm, confident, in control. "Some of you," he said, pacing slowly, "you pray, but you don't obey." The crowd leaned in. "Yes, Pastor. You ask God for peace, but you still live in chaos." A woman in the front row stood up. "That's right." Applause filled the room. Marcus stopped walking, looked across the audience like he could see them. "Order," he said. "God is a God of order." More nods, more agreement. A man in the second row turned to his wife. "That man saved my marriage," he said under his breath. She nodded. "He hears from God." Marcus closed his eyes for a second, then opened them again. Focused, powerful, like nothing could shake him. "Sometimes," he continued, "you have to correct what's out of line before it destroys everything." The room went quiet, listening, locked in. He raised his hand slightly. "And correction is love." "Amen." The church responded again, loud, certain. Miles away, the house on Lenox Avenue in Buckhead sat still under the afternoon sun. Inside, Mary moved slowly across the living room floor. Same cloth. Her body looked heavier now, not just tired, drained. Her phone lit up, a message from her twin sister Martha. Her breath caught as she picked it up. "I land tomorrow. Meet me at the cafe downtown. Don't tell him." Mary looked toward the door, then back at the message. Her heart started racing again, faster than before, because for the first time, this wasn't just fear anymore. Something was coming, and nothing about it felt small. Back at the church, Marcus stepped down from the pulpit. People surrounded him fast. "Pastor, that message, wow! Pastor Marcus, you spoke straight to me today." Hands reaching out, smiles everywhere. He nodded, shook hands, accepted every word like it belonged to him. "You just stay in alignment," he told a woman holding her chest. "God will handle the rest." She nodded, almost in tears. "Thank you, Pastor." A young man stepped forward. "Sir, I've been struggling. I don't know what to do anymore." Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder. Firm, controlled. "You listen to instruction, and you don't question leadership." The young man nodded fast. "Yes, sir." Marcus gave a small smile. "Good." Later, inside a small office behind the church, the door closed. The noise from the crowd faded. Quiet now. Marcus walked to his desk, opened a drawer, pulled out an envelope, thick. He sat down and began counting, slow, careful, stack after stack. Cash lined up neatly in front of him. His face stayed calm, focused. This is for the work. God's work needs funding. He finished counting, placed the money back inside, then leaned back in his chair, satisfied.
"You came alone, right?" Mary stood there, one hand on her belly. For a second, it felt like looking in a mirror. Same face, same features, but everything else was different. Martha stood up slowly. Her eyes didn't leave Mary, not even for a second. Mary walked closer, step by step, careful, heavy. And the closer she got, the clearer it became. She looked smaller, not just physically. Something in her presence had shrunk, like she was trying not to take up space. Martha noticed it instantly. They stopped in front of each other. No words at first, just staring, taking it in. Then they moved at the same time. The hug came fast, tight, too tight. Mary held on like she needed it, like she hadn't felt safety in a long time. Martha didn't let go either, her grip strong, grounded. "I should have been here. I really missed you." The words landed between them. Mary closed her eyes. A small breath left her chest. "I thought you'd never—" Mary started, but stopped. She didn't finish, didn't need to. Martha pulled back slowly. Her hands stayed on Mary's arms, looking at her again, closer now. The mark on her cheek, faded, but still there. Martha's jaw tightened. Her eyes shifted. Something changed. "I'm going to teach him a lesson." The tone was calm, but it carried weight. Mary's expression dropped. Fear came back fast. "No, please," she said. "Don't do anything crazy." Martha blinked, just once. "Crazy?" Mary nodded quickly. "He didn't mean it like that. He just gets stressed sometimes." Martha stared at her, long, trying to understand what she was hearing. "He's a good man," Mary added. "People respect him." Silence. The noise of a cafe filled the space around them. A barista called out a name. Chairs moved. Coffee machines hissed. But at that table, everything slowed down. Martha leaned back in her chair, still watching Mary. "Wow." She shook her head slightly. "You still protecting him?" Mary looked down at her hands, her fingers twisted together. "I'm just saying, it's not always bad." Martha leaned forward again. "Elaborate." Mary hesitated, then spoke carefully. "He takes care of things. He provides. He expects respect." Martha let out a quiet breath. Not impressed, not convinced. "Respect?" she repeated. Mary nodded. "Yes." Another pause. Martha sat back again, studying her, not just listening now,
reading her, every word, every excuse, every hesitation. Then she reached into her bag, pulled something out, and placed it on the table. A key. Mary looked at it, confused. "What's that?" Martha slid it closer. "Your way out." Mary blinked. "I don't understand." Martha's voice stayed steady. "That's an apartment key in Dubai." Mary shook her head slowly. "No." "Yes." Mary pushed the key back. "I can't leave." "Why not?" "My life is here." Martha leaned in again. "Your life is pain." Mary flinched slightly. "Don't say that." "Then what should I call it?" Mary didn't answer. Her breathing picked up again. Her eyes moved around the cafe. People laughing, talking, normal. "I'm pregnant," she said finally. "I can't just run." Martha's face didn't soften. "Not this time." "Exactly," she said. "That's why you need to go." Mary shook her head again, faster now. "He'll be looking for me." Martha didn't blink. "Let him." That landed hard. Mary stared at her. "You don't understand him." Martha's eyes narrowed slightly. "No," she said. "You don't understand what I'm about to do." Silence. Mary's heart was racing now. She looked at the key again, then at Martha. Something didn't feel safe, not the way she expected. This wasn't just help. This was something else. "Martha, what are you planning?" Martha leaned back slowly, picked up her drink, took a sip. Calm, controlled, then set it down. Her eyes locked on Mary again. "Simple," she said. "I'm taking your place." Mary's breath stopped. For a second, the whole cafe disappeared. "You're what?" Martha didn't repeat herself, didn't need to. The look in her eyes said enough. And in that moment, Mary realized something. This wasn't just about leaving anymore. This was about what Martha was willing to do if she stayed.
"No, that's not gonna work." Mary's voice shook. Her hands stayed locked together, fingers tight. "It already is," Martha said. She adjusted the loose dress on her body. Same color, same fit. The fabric rested over a rounded shape beneath it. A fake pregnancy belly. Mary stared at it. "That's not real," she said. Martha met her eyes in the mirror. "It doesn't need to be." Silence filled the room. Sunlight poured through the window, bright and unforgiving. Every detail showed, every difference. But there weren't many. Same face, same height, same voice. Mary shook her head again. "He'll know." Martha turned slowly. "No, he won't." Mary stepped closer. "He lives with me. He'll feel it. He'll see it." Martha didn't move. "Does he look at you?" she asked. That question landed hard. Mary stopped, didn't answer. Martha tilted her head slightly. "Or does he just control you?" Mary's eyes dropped. Silence. That was the answer. Martha walked past her and picked up a small bag from the bed. Inside, clothes. Simple, familiar. She pulled out a headscarf. "Put this on," she said. Mary hesitated. "Martha?" "Put it on." This time, Mary obeyed. Slow, careful. Her hands trembled slightly as she tied it. Martha stepped closer, adjusted it. Perfect. Then she reached up and touched Mary's cheek, right where the mark had been. Gone now, but not forgotten. "You should have told me," Martha said. Mary looked away. "I didn't want to cause problems." Martha let out a small breath. "You didn't want to be saved." That hit deeper. Mary swallowed hard. "I'm not weak," she said quietly. Martha held her gaze. "I didn't say you were." A pause. Then Martha stepped back. "Grab your things." Mary looked around the room. There wasn't much. A small bag in the corner. A few clothes. Nothing that looked like a life. She picked it up, slowly, like every movement mattered now. Her eyes moved around the space one last time. The bed, the window,
The door. Everything felt the same, but also different. "Where am I going?" she asked. Martha handed her a phone. "Driver's outside. He'll take you to the airport." Mary blinked. "So it's really happening?" Martha nodded. "Yes." Mary's chest tightened. What if he finds out? Martha didn't hesitate. "I'll handle that." And even if he did, the look in Martha's eyes said the rest. Mary felt it. That shift, that control. Something about it made her uneasy. "Martha, don't do anything crazy," she said again. Martha didn't respond. She was already adjusting her sleeves, becoming someone else. Mary. Perfectly. There was a knock on the door. Both of them froze. Just for a second. Mary's heart jumped. Martha didn't flinch. "Go," Martha said. Mary moved toward the door, slow, careful. She opened it. A man stood outside. "Ride's here," he said. Mary nodded. She stepped out, walked down the path. The sunlight hit her face, bright, warm, but it didn't feel comforting. The car door opened. She got in, closed it. The car pulled off. Mary looked straight ahead. She didn't turn back, not once. Inside the house, Martha stood alone now. The silence felt different, not heavy, not tense, controlled. She walked through the living room, slow steps, taking it all in. The small details, the way things were placed, the way the space felt. She reached the mirror near the hallway, stopped, looked at her reflection. Same face, same expression, but the eyes, different, colder, stronger. Martha adjusted the fake belly slightly. Perfect. No flaws, no hesitation. Then she heard it, the sound of a car pulling up outside, right on time. Her head turned toward the door. Footsteps approached, firm, familiar. The handle moved. The door opened. Pastor Marcus stepped inside. He didn't look around, didn't hesitate. His voice came quick, sharp. "Come here." Martha didn't move right away. She watched him, just for a second longer. Then she lowered her eyes and stepped forward. Marcus didn't look at her fully. He dropped his keys on the table and walked past, like this was routine, like nothing ever changed inside that house on Lenox Avenue, Buckhead. Martha moved slowly, careful, measured. Every step had to match Mary, not too fast, not too confident. She kept her head slightly lowered, watched him without making it obvious. Marcus turned halfway, impatient. "I said, come here." Martha stepped closer, stopped a few feet away. Her hands rested lightly over the fake belly, her breathing steady, controlled. Marcus looked at her, really looked this time. Something in his eyes flickered, small, quick, like he noticed something off, but it passed, fast. "You clean the place?" he asked. Martha nodded. "Yes." Her voice was soft, just like Mary's. Marcus walked around her slowly, like he was inspecting something. Martha stayed still, didn't react, didn't move. "You went out today?" he asked. Martha shook her head. "No." A pause. Marcus stopped behind her, close enough for her to feel it. "You sure?" Martha didn't turn. "Yes." Silence. Then, smack. The slap came fast, sharp, loud. Martha's head snapped to the side. For a second, everything went still. The room, the air, her thoughts. Her hand didn't go to her cheek right away. It stayed frozen by her side. Because this wasn't expected. Not like this, not this sudden, not this casual. A slow breath left her chest. Then another. She lifted her hand, pressed it lightly against her face. The sting spread. Real. Too real. Behind her, Marcus adjusted his sleeve, calm again, like nothing happened. "I asked you a simple question," he said. "Don't make me repeat myself." Martha lowered her hand slowly. Her head stayed down, but her eyes, they changed. Cold, focused, sharp in a way Mary's never were. And in that moment, everything Mary said became real. Not exaggerated, not emotional, real. Martha felt it now, in her body, in her chest, in that quiet anger building up. But she didn't react, not yet. She swallowed it, held it in, let it sit, because this wasn't the time. Marcus walked past her again. "Make me something to eat," he said, "and you better be quick." Martha nodded once. "Yes, sir." She turned toward the kitchen. Slow steps, same pace Mary would use. But inside, everything was shifting. Every detail mattered now. Every word, every movement. She reached the counter, placed her hands on it, and for a brief second, she stopped. No sound, no movement, just stillness. Then she started, opening cabinets, taking out plates, acting normal, playing the role. Behind her, Marcus sat down, scrolling through his phone, comfortable, relaxed, like he owned everything in that room. "You better not be talking to your sister again," he said, without looking up. Martha didn't turn. No. A pause. Then he smirked slightly. "Good. I don't really like her. She thinks she knows everything." Martha's grip tightened on the plate. Just for a second. She didn't respond. Didn't need to. She just kept moving, cooking, listening, watching, learning. Later that afternoon, the house sat quiet again. Marcus had stepped out. Church errands. God's work. The door shut behind him. Martha stood still in the living room, listening, waiting, until the sound of his car faded down the street. Only then she moved, fast, different now. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small device, compact, simple. She walked to the corner of the room, near the shelf, adjusted a frame slightly, placed it behind it. A tiny red light blinked once, then went still. She moved to the kitchen, another one, near the cabinet, hidden, precise. Then the hallway, one more, every angle, every space, covered. Martha stepped back, looked around the house, not as Mary now, but as herself. Her eyes scanned everything, calculating, cold, controlled. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was something else, something planned, something bigger. She reached into her pocket, pulled out her phone, typed one message, short, direct, then sent it across the world to Dubai. She stood there for a second longer, listening to the silence. Then her phone vibrated. A reply came in. She looked at the screen, and for the first time since she entered that house, a small smile appeared. Because now, this wasn't just a situation anymore. It was a setup.
"Where you going?" Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Martha's hand froze on the door handle. Midday sun poured through the windows of the house on Lenox Avenue, Buckhead, bright, exposed, nowhere to hide. "I was just stepping out for a minute," she said. Calm, too calm. Marcus stood up from the couch slow, like he already knew how this was going to end. "You don't step out," he said. Martha turned halfway. "It's hot in here." A beat. Wrong answer. Marcus walked toward her. Not fast, not angry. Worse, controlled. "I said stay inside." Her fingers tightened on the handle. "I'll be quick." That did it. His hand shot out, grabbed her arm, hard, pulled her back like she weighed nothing. "Since when you start deciding things in this house?" Martha stumbled, caught herself. For a second, just one, her eyes met his, and something flickered. Not fear. Marcus saw it, and it irritated him. "I'm talking to you." Martha dropped her gaze again. "I'm sorry." That word. He expected it, needed it. He pointed toward the hallway. "Bathroom. Now." A pause. "Now." Martha didn't move. That hesitation, it hit his ego. He stepped closer, real close. "I said, go." This time she walked, slow steps, heavy, but steady. She reached the bathroom, opened it, stepped in, turned,
He was right there. The door slammed. Click. Locked. Final. Silence. No window. Just her. The mirror. And a door that wasn't opening. From the living room, his voice came back normal again. I said stay inside. Like nothing just happened. Martha stood still. Not panicking. Not reacting. Her eyes lifted to the mirror. Mary stared back. Same face. Same body. But not the same energy. Her jaw tightened. Slight. Controlled. She touched the spot on her arm where he grabbed her. Held it there for a second. Then dropped her hand. Silence stretched. Then she moved. Checked the door. Locked. Of course. She stepped back. Looked around. Every inch of that small room. Not like a victim. Like someone studying a crime scene.
Her eyes landed on her hair. She pulled a pin out slowly, held it between her fingers, tested the lock. Click. Pause. Click. Another try. Then the lock gave. Soft. Clean. The door opened just a little. She didn't step out. Not yet. She closed it again, left it looking locked, then stepped back. Back into position. Back into character. Minutes later, footsteps. The lock turned. Marcus opened the door, watching her, waiting. For fear, for tears, for submission. Martha stepped forward, head slightly down, but her eyes, different, cold, measured. She walked past him, didn't speak, didn't rush. Marcus turned slowly, watching her. Something didn't sit right. He couldn't explain it, but he felt it, like something slipped out of his control, and he didn't catch it in time.
Why is this still here? Marcus held up the plate, water dripping from it, standing in the kitchen, buckhead. Martha didn't turn. I was about to finish it. About to, he repeated, mocking. He dropped it back into the sink. Clang! Water splashed. You don't about to anything. You do it right. Martha kept washing. Same pace, same calm. That calm, it annoyed him more than disrespect. You've been acting different, he said. No response. I'm talking to you. I heard you. That was new. Marcus stepped closer. You got something to say? Martha turned slowly, looked at him just long enough. Then, no. That should have ended it, but it didn't, because something about her tone didn't bow, didn't fold. Marcus felt it. You getting bold now? Silence. That silence, it pushed him. His hand went up, automatic, familiar, expected. But this time, Martha moved faster. She caught his wrist midair, tight, firm. Marcus froze. His brain didn't catch up yet. His hand stopped just inches from her face. Their eyes locked. No fear, none. Martha held his wrist a second longer than needed, let him feel it. Then, smack! Her hand landed across his face, clean, heavy. Marcus stumbled back, touched his cheek, slow, confused. What just happened? Martha stood still, calm. Try it again. Not loud, not emotional, dead serious.
Marcus blinked, trying to process. You lost your mind? But his voice, it cracked, just a little. Martha stepped forward this time, closing the distance. You hit me again. A pause. And I promise you won't like what happens next. Silence. Thick. Heavy. Marcus looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time, because he was. This wasn't the same woman. And that realization, it hit his pride hard. He took a step back. Didn't mean to, but he did. And he hated that. You playing a dangerous game, he said. Martha didn't respond, just watched him. And that shook him more than anything, because now he didn't know where the line was anymore. Who touched my car? Marcus stood outside in the driveway, both front tires flat. Not one, both. He looked around the quiet Buckhead street. Neighbors walking dogs. A woman across the street paused.
watched, then kept going. Martha stood at the door, arms folded, calm. "I just drove this yesterday," he said. No response. "You didn't hear anything?" "No." Too simple. Marcus stared at her. "You sure?" "Yes." A beat. His jaw tightened. Later, closet door swings open. Silence. Then, "What is this?" Martha walked in. His suits. Not one. 3. All ruined. Burn marks. Clean. Intentional. Not mistakes. Marcus turned slowly. "You did this!" Martha tilted her head. "I followed your instructions." That hit deeper than denial. It felt like mockery. "You think this is funny?" She didn't answer, just kept folding clothes, like he wasn't even there. That disrespect, it burned him. By afternoon, doorbell. Marcus opened it. 2 church members stood outside, concerned. "Pastor, everything okay?" He forced a smile. "Of course." They glanced past him, saw Martha in the hallway, still, watching. Something about her posture, different. "You sure?" one of them said quietly. Marcus nodded fast. "Everything's fine." They left, but that look, it stayed. He closed the door, hard, turned back. "You trying to embarrass me now?" Martha leaned against the wall, relaxed. "You embarrassing yourself." That landed. Direct hit. Marcus stepped forward, then stopped, because something in her eyes warned him, don't. And for the first time, he listened. That scared him more than anything. Evening light filled the room. Marcus sat down, head in his hands. Everything felt off. Too many things, too fast. He looked up. Martha stood in the hallway again, always watching, always calm. "You think you're in control?" he said. Martha smiled, just a little. "Not anymore." Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Marcus stood up, grabbed his Bible, sat back down, tried to pray. "Father?" Nothing. He tried again. Words didn't land, didn't connect. His thoughts kept breaking. He slammed the Bible shut, frustrated, breathing harder now. He looked up. Martha still standing there, watching, like she knew something he didn't. And that's when it hit him. This wasn't random. This wasn't bad luck. This was planned. And somehow, he was already losing. "Play that again." Mary leaned forward. Dubai Marina sunlight filled the room. Bright, peaceful, too peaceful. On the screen, Marcus pacing, restless, broken. Mary's lips slowly curved. "That's him?" she said, almost in disbelief. The same man who made her feel small now couldn't even sit still. She adjusted her position, hand resting on her belly. The baby moved. She smiled, soft, real. "You see that?" she said quietly. "That's your auntie." Screen switched. Kitchen view. Martha moving, calm, precise, different. Mary watched closely because she knew herself. And that wasn't her anymore. That was something stronger, something she never had the chance to become. Another clip. Driveway. Marcus yelling at the car. Mary let out a small laugh, short, sharp. "He hates looking weak," she said. The staff member nodded. Mary didn't look away. She couldn't. Not now. Not when everything was flipping. Bedroom feed. Burned suits. Marcus panicking. Mary shook her head slowly. "You should have just been a good man." Silence. Then she leaned back, relaxed, for the first time in years. No tension in her shoulders, no fear in her chest, just peace, but also satisfaction. Back in Atlanta, Marcus sat alone, quiet, too quiet. He looked toward the hallway. Martha stood there, same place, same calm, and suddenly he felt it, that feeling, like someone was watching him, not just in the room, but beyond it, like he was being studied, judged, measured, and losing. He swallowed, hard. Something wasn't right. Not with her, not with this house, not with anything. Back in Dubai, Mary stood up slowly, walked toward the window. City stretched out below her, big, free, safe. She placed her hand on her belly again, breathing steady. Then she turned, eyes sharper now. "Get me the church schedule," she said. The staff member moved fast. Mary looked back at the screen one more time, at Martha, at Marcus, at the house. "Sunday," she said quietly. A small pause. Then, "Let's finish this."
Our God is good. Marcus stood at the pulpit inside the church on Peachtree Street, daylight pouring through stained glass. His Bible sat open, but his eyes weren't locked in anymore. The church was packed, every seat filled, people standing, phones already out. Something felt different today, like people came expecting something. Marcus stood at the pulpit, suit clean, face calm, but his eyes restless. "Today," he started, voice shaky for just a second. He cleared his throat. "Today, we talk about truth." "Amen," someone shouted, but it didn't hit the same, not today. Then, the doors opened, slow. Heads turned, whispers spread fast. Martha walked in, alone, calm, confident, different. People moved aside without knowing why. Her energy, it commanded space. Marcus froze, just for a second, then forced a smile. "Service is ongoing," he said, trying to control it, trying to own the room. Martha kept walking, straight down the aisle, no fear, no hesitation. Then, "Stop!" Her voice cut through everything. Silence dropped, heavy. "What are you doing?" Marcus said. Martha looked around, at the people, at the church.
Then back at him. "He's a liar." Gasps, loud this time. "What?" someone said, before the room could settle. Another voice. "Wait, that's Mary." Heads turned again. Mary walked in, slow, emotional, but not weak. And now the room exploded. "Ain't no way. They twins? What is this?" Phones went up fast, recording everything. Marcus stepped back. "This is inappropriate." Martha cut him off. "No, what's inappropriate," she stepped closer, "is what you do behind closed doors." Silence again, but now it felt dangerous. She pulled out the flash drive, held it up. "For days, I lived in that house as my sister." People leaned forward, locked in. "And the man y'all call pastor?" She turned, looked right at him. "He's a whole different person." Screen behind the pulpit flickered. Video started playing. Clips. Marcus yelling. Him slapping. Him controlling. Not rumors, not stories. Proof. Real. Gasps filled the room. Some people stood up. "No, that's AI. That can't be him." But it was. Clear as day. Mary stepped forward, tears in her eyes, but her voice steady. "He did that to me." Silence. Then chaos. "Call the police. I gave this man money. He prayed over my family." Marcus shook his head. No, this is lies." But nobody was listening anymore, because the screen didn't lie. Martha stepped even closer, lowered her voice, just enough for him to hear. "You done." Marcus froze. His hand loosened. The mic slipped, dropped. Boom, echoed through the church. And that was the moment. He lost everything. Outside the church, it was chaos. People yelling, phones everywhere, news vans pulling up fast. "This just in, local pastor exposed." Cameras flashing. Marcus stepped out, but nobody came to him. Nobody touched him. They moved away, like he was dirty. "I trusted you. You prayed for my kids. You took my money." Voices hit him from every side. He couldn't respond, didn't even know how. Inside, empty chairs, abandoned Bibles, a whole church, gone in hours. Online, clips everywhere, millions of views, comments flooding. He's sick. Lock him up. Justice for her. Back at the house, quiet, dead quiet, like it didn't belong to him anymore. Days later, courtroom, downtown Atlanta, packed, tense. Marcus sat still, suit clean, face blank, trying to hold something together, anything. Mary sat across, Martha beside her, strong, unshaken. The judge looked down. Fraud, abuse, financial exploitation. Each word hit, heavy, final. People in the courtroom murmured, shaking heads, done with him. Mary took a breath, slow, deep, because this time she wasn't scared. The judge paused, looked up. Sentencing will now be delivered. Silence dropped. Marcus blinked, slow, because deep down, he already knew. He lost.
5 years in federal prison. Silence. Then movement. People standing, walking out, leaving him behind. Marcus didn't react, didn't move, just sat there, empty. Mary stayed seated, hand on her belly, breathing steady. No tears, not anymore. Martha looked at her. Mary nodded, small but strong. Cut to Dubai Marina. Bright sunlight, peaceful, free. Mary sat by the window, holding her baby, safe, calm, finally at peace. Martha stood nearby, watching, relaxed. No tension, no war left to fight. No one touches you again, Martha said. Simple, final. Mary looked down at her child, then up, and smiled. Not soft, not weak, strong, because now she wasn't surviving, she was living. Final line. Some men think silence means weakness. A pause until the wrong woman decides to speak. Some people think silence means weakness, but Mary wasn't weak. She was just surviving until someone who loved her showed up. Martha didn't just fight for her sister, she gave her a second life. And in the end, that's what mattered. Not the pain, not the past, but the freedom. Tell me, where are you watching from? And what part of this story stayed with you? I'm right there in the comments.